Meet Jordan. Over the past few months, Jordan has sent out hundreds of job applications. He's fine-tuned his resume. He's followed every piece of advice he could find. And still, no interviews, no callbacks, nothing. At some point, Jordan might even start Googling how to not get ghosted by companies 101, wondering if he missed a secret handshake along the way. But what if the problem isn't Jordan at all? What if the real issue is the system? Because behind every job posting, behind every statistic, there's a reality we don't often talk about. This is happening for two big reasons. First, the numbers we trust to judge the job market, like unemployment rates and jobless claims, are more misleading than they seem. Second, when the economy gets tough, companies don't stop hiring entirely. They just change how they hire and who gets through. Let's break that down. You've probably heard this before. The job market is hot. Unemployment is at historic lows. Companies are desperate to hire. But one of the most quoted stats, jobless claims, doesn't tell the whole story. At first, it sounds simple. It counts how many people applied for unemployment benefits. But actually qualifying for those benefits, that's a whole different thing. First off, you need to be a traditional employee. So if you're a freelancer, a gig worker, or an independent contractor, you're already out. Second, you must have lost your job through no fault of your own. Getting laid off is fine. But if you quit or got fired, nope. Third, you have to have worked enough hours and earned enough money in the past year. And finally, your employer has to be paying into the state's unemployment insurance system. If even one of these doesn't apply, you're not eligible. And worse, you're invisible in the stats. You're out of work, but no one's counting you. Let's say Jordan finally landed some freelance work, doing design projects for small businesses just to stay afloat. Things were starting to look up. But then, a bunch of those businesses cut their marketing budgets. And just like that, Jordan loses all his clients. His income drops to zero. And because he wasn't technically employed, he doesn't qualify for benefits. He's out of work, but he's not showing up in the numbers. And he's not alone. Take Kevin, for example, a college student working part-time at a bookstore. When winter break hits, his hours get slashed. He needs a new job, but he didn't work enough hours to qualify for unemployment. Plus, since he's technically still on the payroll, he's not even considered unemployed. So all these headlines saying low unemployment or the labor market is booming, they miss people like Maya and Kevin. At the same time, a lot of people are doing the exact opposite, juggling multiple jobs just to make ends meet. And that too distorts the data, because it makes the labor market look stronger than it really is. People aren't picking up extra gigs for fun. They're doing it because they have no choice. Let's say the economy adds 10 jobs, but only 7 people are filling them because they're each working multiple gigs. On paper, that looks like job growth, but in reality, it doesn't mean work is stable or sustainable. It's a statistical illusion. More and more people are piecing together side hustles, temp jobs, freelance work, whatever they can to stay afloat. From the outside, it might seem like the labor market is thriving, but underneath, it's a sign that unstable, precarious work is becoming the norm. And that's why, even during inflation or recessions, we sometimes see unemployment stay low. Because people are patching together multiple small jobs, and in doing so, they're propping up the numbers. So, yeah, the data might look fine, but behind it, people are burning out, just trying to survive. Alright, let's switch things up and look at it from the company's side. When the economy gets shaky, or when the outlook starts to dim, companies don't always slam the brakes on hiring, but they do get more cautious and cost-conscious. Sometimes, instead of bringing in someone new, they'll just quietly promote someone internally. And yeah, they'll still post the job online. But honestly, that's just to make it look official. Other times, they'll list a role even though the budget hasn't been approved yet. It's not a real opening, it's just a placeholder. And sometimes, they're not even trying to hire. They just want to see who's out there. A test balloon. That's it. Let's be real. Some of those jobs were never open to begin with. Maybe the company already has someone lined up, but they posted anyway to check a box, or the role's stuck in limbo waiting on upper management. And in tougher times, one of the first real shifts companies make, they start cutting costs by leaning into contract gigs, freelance roles, and temp work. No benefits, no long-term promise. Just, can you hit the ground running? There's no time for training. They want someone who already knows the tools, the systems, the industry, someone they can plug in and go. And because even those roles get flooded with applicants, companies get extra picky. If your resume isn't a really close match, you might not even make it past the first filter, not because you're not good enough, but because you didn't use the exact keywords the system was trained to look for. Because these days, you're not just applying to a company, you're applying to an algorithm. Now, there's one more kind of job listing that confuses people. And it's not about hiring freezes. It's not about cost cutting. Some roles are posted purely for immigration purposes. If a company's sponsoring someone for a green card, they're legally required to advertise the job publicly, even if they already plan to keep that person. And those listings, they show up right next to real ones. But they were never meant to go anywhere. So on the surface, the job market might look strong. Low unemployment, more job openings, companies say they're hiring. The data says everything's fine. But behind those numbers, there are people juggling multiple gigs just to stay afloat. People looking for work but slipping through the cracks, and job listings that were never meant to be filled. The stats might not tell the whole story, but if you're navigating this reality right now, you're not imagining it. And you're definitely not alone. So if it feels hard, if it feels unfair, that's because sometimes it is. But here's the thing. You're still here. You're still trying. You're still showing up. And that matters. Because even when progress feels slow, every step you take is getting you closer. So don't give up. Your effort counts. And the right opportunity? It just might be closer than you think. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this and want to catch the next Econ Doodle, don't forget to like and subscribe. More fun, simple breakdowns of the economy coming your way soon.